Hey everyone, I just want to jump on here real quick and let you know about a hack that I just learned. And it's kind of amazing. So I'm going to show you how I did this really quick. And I hope you enjoy it too. Apparently, there's a TikTok trend about making your own transfers. Who knew? Anyway, so I decided to give it a shot because my husband's father passed away last year, and I want to make him a personalized item for Christmas. Has something to do with his dad. So I need to figure this out. And so I was watching some YouTube videos today, but I made a new quirk to it, and I wanted to share that with you. So here we go. So what I did was, here I am at my sewing table, one you've probably seen. Yes, those are all of my various projects and machines. But today we're just focusing on this piece right here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take my, and get you on a stand so you don't have to keep figuring out what you're looking at. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a transfer, a printout. We're going to make a transfer from a printout from my computer. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this to make a transfer. So Chris and I have a second channel. Chris is my husband. We have a second channel where we talk about accessible travel because I don't know if I've mentioned this before. My husband's disabled, and I have issues and he has issues, and together we're happy and at peace here in Florida. But anyway, so so this is a picture from the banner of our other website, Chris Penn Accessible Adventure Travel Reviews, I believe is the full name. Well, anyway, so I just wanted to put this on like a tote bag or something. So I saw this review this morning and it said to use saran wrap. So I used my press and seal, which works fine. I actually like press and seal better. It works fine, but it left like this little smidgy stuff all over it. So I don't know if I didn't transfer it hard enough or hot enough or what the story was. But what I decided to do was to try it again using another method that I had seen, using plain Ziploc bags. So you go to a store like Winn-Dixie or Walmart or something where when they print their bags, they don't print anything on the bag, right? So you're just looking at an unprinted bag, and you cut the zipper part off. You print out your image. So I have a couple of images here. Here's Chris and our dog, Sophia. She's just in love with my husband. And this is my dog, Alex. This is a picture of him and his parents and some other things. So I'm not going to show you that one because they asked not to be on the internet ever. So we will respect that. So I printed out some things. We're also huge Bills fans. So I printed out a couple of things. So this is my Bills logo from a printout. The team allows you to print out their logo and use their logo for your wallpaper and stuff. So I printed out one of those images, and then what I did was I put the image inside this plastic bag, right? I cut off all of the edges so it was completely flat, and I cut off the zipper too. So you got to cut off the zipper, and you put the image that you want to have transferred. You make sure it's good and clean. I don't know what that is, but we'll cut that off. And make sure it's good and clean, and then you slide it inside the two layers. So at this point, your plastic should look completely flat. So you take off the zipper, you take off the sealed edges, the factory fused edge. That's a fold, so that'll just open it up. And then here's another sealed factory edge, and we're just going to cut that off. And then get that to the side so it doesn't get melted in anything. And then what you do is you put your whatever part of the photograph that you want. This, like I said, this is my dog Alex. He is my rescue service animal. He has been in the hospital with me. He's amazing. He really is my lifesaver on many occasions. Like I said, he was in the hospital once with me when I had gotten an infection, and he was so quiet under the covers. The nurses kept coming in and going, "Where's your service animal? Where's your service animal?" But Alex is trained to be quiet because how he signals me with my it's low blood sugar that he signals. How he signals me is by licking my left arm, either my hand or my elbow, to indicate my blood sugar level. Okay, so anyway, enough about Alex. So that's Al. So that's his picture there. You should try to kind of round off any sharp corners, just because it makes the adhesion process easier, is what I'm told. So we're just going to curve down that edge, and we'll just keep on going right to this corner here and curve that down. And this one needs a little rounding itself. There we go. So it's all rounded. So all of that, get all those pieces off of your fabric. I had this little scrap piece of fabric, so I used it this morning. And like I said, what you want to do is you want to put your photo inside the plastic bag like that. Now, just like many of the other tutorials, it'll tell you to trim close to your photo. So we're going to do that. We're going to trim close to the photo. And then what it tells you to do is to carefully wrap the edges underneath the photo. This one I think I'm going to have to make it into 2 separate pieces because it's not folding very easily. So we're just going to cut that into 2 separate pieces. Okay, there we go. Now, and it doesn't really matter what side of the plastic you're using, because it's the plastic itself that inherently melts in heat. That's the thing that's going to cause all the good action. So what you want to do is, once you have it all organized, you take your photo. Let me get all that out of the way so you can see it. You take your photo and you tuck the edges of your photo underneath. And give it a little finger press. Don't use your iron, it'll melt. So just tuck it underneath. Kind of like a bad Christmas present wrapping job, right? So you're just kind of holding it in the center to keep everything down, and you're tucking everything underneath. Same thing on this side. As you can see, there's a little edge there. We're going to tuck that underneath, right? Tuck that underneath. Tuck that underneath there. Tuck that underneath there. And there you go. Now, if you haven't already selected your fabric, this would be the time to select the fabric that you're going to use for this transfer, because the next step is the heat step. So ideally you should do this on top of the fabric that you intend to mount the picture onto. So I am going to now take this photograph and move it to another piece of fabric. So if you'll just give me a second, we're going to set that aside. We're going to get a piece of fabric. Just so you know, you can only do that with woven fabrics. You can't do that with knits. I'll tell you about that someday, but anyway. So yeah, so you need a piece of parchment paper. So any kind of parchment paper will do. I think I got this one at Walmart. You can also use wax paper, although most people don't have wax paper anymore. And I haven't tried it myself with wax paper, so I can't 100% say that it comes out as well. But here you go. This is our fabric. And It's a double layer, but that's okay because we can use the other layer as an ironing surface protector later. So yeah, so photo, right, in between two layers, centered, so you make sure you have enough on either side. So this side has to come over a little bit. There we go. Like, for some reason, there we go, like that. Okay, and then again, you tuck under. It doesn't have to be pretty because it's not going to stay there very long. You tuck it under, and you tuck it under. Whoops, that side, see how that side's sticking out too far? So we need to move it over a little bit. So tuck it under. Use your hand to hold the center, or something heavy like this bowl of water, but you don't want to have water on it. Oh, your scissors will work. That'll work. There you go. Put your shears right in the center to help it in. And then while you're working on the top, the shears will keep everything in place. And then tuck under the top. Like that. And like that. And then move your object around so you can get access to the bottom. My bottom's kind of irregularly shaped, so you want to fold around that shape. So there you go. All right, so your next step is just to finger crease it a little bit. Make sure all your edges are covered. And then your next step is to put a piece of parchment paper over the top. Now, the reason you're using parchment paper is parchment paper will release any stickiness, and it will be initially sticky once it's heated. You put your iron on the highest setting possible, so turn it all the way till it won't turn anymore if that's the kind you have, or all the way up if that's the kind you have. But you just put your iron on. No water. Very important. Do not steam. I know we love to hear the steam, but you do not steam on this project. You just slide your iron across the parchment paper. You'll immediately feel everything start to flatten, and the parchment paper will become more transparent because the surface of the parchment paper, which modern parchment paper, I believe, is silicone coated. Well, anyway, it will start to adhere to the plastic underneath, the first layer. Did you just see what I just saw? Watch this. See that bubble right there? That means it's working. That means it's starting to adhere. And you want to make sure that you particularly pay attention to the edges where those double and triple layers of that plastic was. And you just keep doing this until all the wrinkles are gone and it feels like everything is stuck together. And like I said, I would spend extra time on the edges because those are the problem areas of any transfer. Whether you buy transfer paper or not, or you buy a pre-printed image, the corners are always the problem areas. My brother used to work for a car detail shop. They did decals on cars, and he was always telling me how difficult the edges were. And it's the same with sewing. There's certain sewing and crafting. There's certain parts that are extra special tedious. And in this craft, it's always going to be the corners and the edges of the printout. Now, while we're doing this, I could take a little time to talk to you about images. This is very, very easy to do. All you do is print out your decal or photograph or whatever you want to do. Al's my guy, so I figured he deserved to be on the video today. And what you do is, after it's been a while, you pick up your iron, and while it's still hot, give it a little peek. Can you see that? See that right there? That's adhering really well, but I can still see a little plastic, so I'm going to give that another hit. because I really want it to be into the fibers of the fabric. So give that another hit. If you have any layers where it doesn't look like the plastic is completely melted into the fabric, if you can see it a little bit too defined, it still looks like plastic wrap, then you want to give that another strong hit. One time I was watching videos and I was doing this, and I forgot about the iron for a little bit too long, and it browned my parchment paper, which is okay, because that's what parchment paper is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a protectant. But just be careful that you don't leave it any longer than that, because if the parchment paper was getting brown, your fabric was certainly hot underneath. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to leave that on there. We're going to pick up the fabric, turn it over, and remember, mine is double layered. Typically what I would do if it wasn't double layered already, I would put another piece of paper or another piece of parchment paper or another cloth, like a press cloth or something over it. But we can just use this double piece because it's already a double piece. We can just use this, and just, you want to add one more good press to the back side, and especially around the corners where you did all of that tucking. Okay? Because you want that to stick forever. And the hotter that is, I'm going to go right to the original side. The hotter that is, see that little right there, that ridge? That means there's extra plastic there, and we need to take care of that. Okay. Now, bring it back over to the front. You'll see that's the part where we picked up before. Peel off your paper. And there's my guy. He's ready for a tote bag pocket. So just if you touch it, it will feel a little sticky. You got to give it a couple of minutes to dry. And not dry, but to set back up and be plastic again. But there you go. If you have any, I don't know if you can see that, but if you have any areas where you see the plastic sticking out and it's not sticking down, then just hit that with your parchment paper one more time. This looks really good, actually. I think this one's really good. I think it's just as good as the one that I did before, that I originally showed you, which was our Buffalo Bill Buffalo. And it will still feel kind of like paper, because it is paper. So you don't want to do big ones. You want to do, small patches like this. I mean, you can do a full one, but be aware that I saw somebody online do a huge picture like this, like the one that I have of my husband and my other dog. If I did this, it would feel a little papery, like there's paper in there, because there is, right? And eventually, when you wash it, I'm told, and I'm going to do a wash test today, so look for a short about that. I'm told that once this is sealed, inside the plastic, it's essentially laminated, and it makes it through the laundry very nicely. So we shall see. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I enjoyed bringing it to you. And we'll talk again soon. Have a great day. Bye.